level of consciousness differs. Do you understand? Then we'll talk about attention. Some people don't give attention to details. Do you understand? While there are others that give attention to details. You understand? So two people may do work, but discover that one may do it better and neatly than the other because of attention to details. Do you understand? Then cognitive abilities, problem solving and all of that. So they are also part of it. Then we look at another one, another measure that you can use is what we call electrocardiographic. Electrocardiographic. That is ECG. ECG. All right, we call it electrocardiographic, okay, cardiography. That is ECG measures the electrical activity of the heart to assess heart rate, all right, heart rate variability and other cardiac functions, all right. So it is often used to study the physiological responses to stress and emotion. So this machine help you to understand how individual responds to stress and other emotional happenings or factors. So let's move on. Then we have what we call electromyography. Do you understand? Electromyography. So that is EMG measures the electrical activities produced by skeletal muscles. That is talking about our bones, our muscles, how they respond, how they react. Okay, it is used to assess muscles tension, right? Muscles tension, muscles fatigue, and then motor control. The motor, that is the neurological, that is the kind of moment, the reactions of your bodies. How when you are surprised, how do you respond? Do you understand? When you are afraid, how do you respond? These are the things that we're talking about here. All right. So your motor, your neurons, or the terminology they use, and can be used to study emotional responses that involve changes to muscles activities. And then we talk about galvanic skin response. Galvanic skin response. That's GSR. GSR measures changes in the electrical conductance of the skin, which is influenced by the activity of the sweat glands. All right. It's often used as an indicator of emotional arousal and stress. So this is how you're going to use. These are technical issues. Do you understand? So you need those machines to be able to conduct those assessments. Then we have the respiration rate. The respiration rate measures the number of breath taken per minute. All right. Changes in respiration rate can indicate emotional arousal, stress, or other psychological states. All right. So this is how you are going to use it to measure how individuals, breathe. All right, you are breathing. Or some people, when they run, when you run, you see that your breathing is very fast and it's too often than when you just walk. Do you understand? Your breathing is different compared when you run. And when you also run under form of stress in terms of maybe something pursuing you, maybe a dog pursuing you. Do you understand? How do you run? So you see that kind of running. Or when you are running from maybe police tear gas, tear gas. Those of you that go out to protest, when you are running away from police tear gas, you see the kind of speed you'll be you'll be displaying. By the time you stop, the way you respond, if we are to conduct the respiratory rate at that time, you see it to be very, very fast and high and very strong. Do you understand? That's what it means. So blood pressure. Blood pressure is also one of the way you can measure uh, emotional intelligence. So to know how far an individual, you know, blood arteries work, okay, arteries. So it can also be influenced by psychological factors such as stress, anxiety, and emotional arousal. Some of you, when you think so much, oh, because of stress, your blood pressure will rise up, or sometimes it will go down. Maybe some of you it will go to zero. That's nothing is happening to you. You feel nothing. You feel nothing. It's low. Do you understand? And then it can be high based on the kind of thinking activities you are doing, and maybe a level of anxiety, level of worries, and all of that, your blood pressure can rise. You understand? Depends on what you're thinking per time. So, but you need machines to be able to carry out um, psychophysiological measures. This one is very technical. Do you understand? It's very technical. It's not, you can see this kind of equipment. It's a biological level. That you want to know, you go to hospitals, you see some of these instruments. Those of you that are in the medical field, you should understand what I'm talking about here. And some of you have been practicing it, you know what I'm talking about. Maybe if I have the opportunity uh, to have some of you talk, you can share more experience. Those of you that are medical doctors or have medical practicing medicine, you can explain better some of these things, how they work. Do you understand? So that's it. Then other factors other measurement that you can use to conduct um, emotional intelligence assessment is self-report questionnaire. Self-report questionnaires are one of the most common methods used to measure emotional intelligence. These questionnaires typically ask questions to rate their own emotional abilities, behaviors, and responses to various situations. Examples of self-report emotional intelligence assessment include the emotional quotient inventory, the one we discussed the other day. Then we have the threat emotional intelligence questionnaire. We also discuss it. And then we have the Myers-Slavic Caruso emotional intelligence test. We also discussed it in our previous lesson. Do you understand? So let's look at behavioral observations. Also, is another tool that you can use to carry out emotional assessment intelligence. All right. So what are we going to look at? It observing an individual behavior in various situations can provide insight into their emotional intelligence. Trained observers can assess how individuals interact with others, handle conflict, manage stress, and display empathy in different situations to evaluate their emotional intelligence competencies. Do you understand? So you take somebody to, for instance, now you take somebody to Lagos. You want to observe how the person behave in Lagos. Then you take the person to Washington or London. You see different behavior, different attitude, even the language, the level of communication will also change. Do you understand? The person, like me now, if you carry me to London now, you see, I will begin to speak like Ogo. Do you understand? If you observe me carefully, you begin to see changes in me. Do you understand? Then, if you take me back to data, if you take me to data, worry boys, very soon I will start speaking worry language. Do you understand how they speak? So that's how it's. So you observe. You can observe different situation, different environment, influence different people. Do you understand? There are some, if you go to Mama Put to go and eat, just by the side, you want to go to buy just Mama Put by the side to go and eat roadside food. This is how you hold plate, and then you put in your mouth and be eating your food. That is, you don't send anybody. Do you understand? But by the time you go to five-star hotel, restaurant, you are looking for the culturalists to eat with it. Do you understand? Because here you know that you come to an environment where elites are, so you don't you're mindful of how you are going to eat, so that you will not be looked at as a Jew person. Do you understand? But if it's by the roadside, Mama Put, you don't send anybody. Your plate, whap 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 whap. You clean out, you move. Do you understand? But if it's in a five-star day, you finish and you are asking for 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 all that stuff. Do you understand? That's how we behave. So you put individuals in this kind of situation, you assess them, you observe them, how they behave. Do you understand? How they behave. It's very important. So we look at interviews and role-playing exercise. Also, it's one of those tools that you can use to measure emotional intelligence. Do you understand? So interviews and role-playing exercise can be used to assess emotional intelligence by observing how individuals respond to emotional challenges, communicate with others, and manage interpersonal interactions in a structured setting, like in organization. How do individuals interact? You understand? This is what we're talking about. I'm not talking about an unstructured setting like the market. The marketplace is an unstructured setting. Do you understand? But when it comes to organization, it's very structured. Do you understand? In organic, that's what we call the organogram. Organization have organizational structure. Okay, organogram. We call it organogram. So you interact. How do you interact on that level? That's what we're talking about. Structured setting. Do you understand? So these are the tools available for you. There can be many other tools out there for you to use to measure or carry out, conduct emotional intelligence assessment. Do you understand? But these are the ones that we want to mention here. We mentioned, let me just do a recap of what we have covered, okay, of those tools that we have discovered, what we have discussed here. We discussed about 360-degree feedback survey. We also talk about performance-based, assessment. We talk about situational judgment test. All right. We talk about the psychophysiological assessment. We talk about the self-report questionnaires. We talk about behavioral observations. Do you understand? And then we'll talk about interviews and role-playing exercises. So these are the tools available for you to conduct emotional intelligence. I hope we have learned something, and I hope you can apply some of this in your workplace. Some of these are managers in organization. Some of you that are leaders in your organizations. Some of you that are supervisors in your organization. You can decide to. I know some of you must have been doing this thing, but you don't understand that these things has to do with emotional intelligence, or you understood but you have not known deeper as compared to what you have known here today. So you now begin to practice them to see how you study the people working with you. Do you understand? Observe them and know how they behave, and so that you can be able to manage the individuals that are under you very well. So it is also brought down on you as a manager to be able to manage the individuals, inspire them. That is the employee under you. You manage them well, inspire them, and then influence them to not only just achieve tasks, but also develop their competencies to become leaders tomorrow, and then also help to build other team as well. This is what we're talking about here. I think you are learning something. If you are learning something, share it so that somebody else can also come across this and learn something. So each of these methods has its strengths and limitations, and the choices of assessment methods may depend on the specific goal of the assessment. Do you understand? So the context in which it will be used and the resources available for conducting the assessment. The resources available, because you see the that's the psychophysiological, is very, very expensive. That's, you have to buy those machines. They are very expensive. Do you understand? So the resources available also matters. So it's not everything that you can use. Use the ones that is affordable and is within your reach, and the ones that you can use based on the need and the goal of the assessment. Do you understand? Very important. Let's move forward. So we are going to look at, in our unit 3, we are going to consider another topic, which is popular emotional intelligence assessment tools. We have mentioned some, but we still discuss some of them. There are just more of them. We are going to discuss more of them. So let's look at the emotional intelligence appraiser. The emotional intelligence appraiser developed by Travis and Jean is one of the most widely used emotional intelligence assessment. It measures various aspects of emotional intelligence, including self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. So in module 2, we are going to look at the components of emotional intelligence. Do you understand? So, and these things that we are mentioning here now are part of what the components of emotional intelligence. Do you understand? This is what we're talking about. So let's look at Myers Salovey Caruso Emotional Intelligence Test, MSCEIT. The MSCEIT is an ability-based emotional intelligence assessment developed by Peter Salovey, John Mayer, and David Caruso. It measures the 4 branches of emotional intelligence, that is perceiving emotions, using emotions to facilitate thinking, understanding emotions, and managing emotions. I think we have discussed when we're discussing the theories. All right. So we don't need to go much into it. Maybe when we're discussing the components of emotional intelligence, we can go deep into it. Then we look at the EQ-1, that is 2.0, that is emotional quotient inventory by Barons. Do you understand? He also bring some of the things that we're going to consider here. Then we'll talk about the Genos emotional intelligence assessment. Genos emotional intelligence assessment are based on the Genos model of emotional intelligence, which focus on 6 key emotional intelligence keys. That is emotional awareness. I'm still talking about the components. So we are going to go into self-awareness, which is a component of emotional intelligence. So we are going to discuss it extensively in our module 2. Then we look at emotional expression, emotional awareness of others. Do you understand? This is what this man was able to do. How do you look at your own self, the others? Do you understand? Such as interpersonal skills, interpersonal skills, intrapersonal skills, interpersonal skills, stress management, adaptability, and general mood. Then we look at Talent Smart emotional intelligence test. Talent Smart offers various emotional intelligence assessment that measures different aspects of emotional intelligence, such as self-awareness. So all of them are focusing on different components of emotional intelligence. So we are going to look at the components in our module 2 so that we have deeper understanding. Then we have the emotional and social competence inventory. The emotional and social competence inventory 2. The ESCI is a 360-degree assessment tool developed by Daniel Goleman and Richard Boyatis that measures emotional and social intelligence competence. It provides feedback from multiple rates, including self, supervisor, peers, and direct reports, what we just did now. Then we'll talk about emotional competence inventory. The emotional competence, we have several of them, do you understand? So it depends on the one you want to use, and the one that is attuned to you the most, you can use it, and the situation that you are looking at and the goal that you want to achieve, you use it. Then we have the Swinburne University emotional intelligence test. Is an emotional intelligence assessment tool developed by the Swinburne University of Technology in Australia. It measures emotional intelligence across various domains such as self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. So all of them, different institutions, different research, different scholars, right, using the emotional intelligent components to develop some of the tools that we can use to carry out. So anyone that is attuned to you, use it, and depends on the goal and what you want to achieve and the complexity of what you are looking at, then we determine the tool you can use. Do you understand? So it's very important. So we have several of them. So when you have the manual, you can go through it and then understand some of them. So what we're going to consider lastly for today, we're going to look at self-assessment and reflection on emotional intelligence. Self-assessment and reflection on emotional intelligence. Self-assessment and reflection on emotional intelligence are essential practices of developing a deeper understanding of one's own emotions, behaviors, and relationship with others. Do you understand? So when you take a step to assess yourself and how you relate with others based on your emotions, because some of us, do you know that we do, as individuals, we do have a reflection of ourselves. Like, okay, for instance, now you are just always having problem with your wife, and your wife at home, and then what can you do? Some of you will just, okay, I have a case of somebody who say that he was having issue with the wife. They're always having issues, argument, disagreement on issues. So he just decided to, go and lodge somewhere and then have a personal retreat and pray and have a reflection of himself and what is going on. And do you understand? And then When I believe that he must have come to terms with certain things. Why am I having argument with my wife all the times? What is it that I'm not doing correct? What is it that I'm not doing right? Do you understand? And how can I begin to do things? So what can I do to avoid all arguments with my wife and all of that? Oh, do you understand? And so after maybe a wife called the wife moved the children, meet him where he was lodging, and from there they began to and begin to, after a while, lodging, after so many reflections, prayers, and all that stuff, they begin to relate well, begin to agree, no more argument, no. Do you understand? So it's possible. So we have self-reflection on how we behave. Do you understand? I don't. You make it on your own personal decision based on your reflections of your emotions. Maybe you have been so too irritated. The small thing your wife say, you get irritated. Like today, we're having a meeting. We're having a meeting. We were to have meeting with one of with our professional students, those that have registered to do our professional PGD programs. And then we just as the person connected to the meeting, he did not even mute, and I hear him shouting with the wife, "Hey, you are my wife, you are my wife, you are my wife. I'm a man in this house. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the head of this family, I'm the man here." Do you understand? So I was like, and you are my wife. So, and then you are shouting to your wife like this, and you are saying you are the wife, you are the man, you are the man. Ego, right? We're talking about, these are some of the emotional things I will talk about, the types of emotions I will talk about, right? Ego, do you understand? And then he was just ranting and shouting and shouting. So I told, when I connected, I hear him ranting like this, and then I told him, I say, when we started the meeting, that's what I first spoke on. I say, "Sir, you that you were ranting and saying that you are the man here and he's your wife, and also all the things that you were talking. So learn how to talk to your wife in a respectful manner. It doesn't matter the level of things, it doesn't matter the type of discussion topic. Just talk in a tune that is respectful, and can your wife can understand and also respect you in return." You understand? I said it. I said this is not part of what we joined this meeting, but I need to tell you because you are going to do a program with the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management. You have not done a training yet. You have just registered, but you have to begin to think about peace, not just in the society, but even at home where you are with your family. Do you understand? So it's very important. So you can just sit down and carry out a self reflection of yourself and how you relate with your family, your wife, your children, your colleagues in the workplaces. And then you say, why is that I'm always looking as the most trouble person? Is that how am I? That everybody look at me as this is the most troublesome person in this office. Don't go there. Don't, that man, don't tolerate nonsense. So you shouldn't be looked at like that. No, you understand? So you have a self-reflection. I'm just trying to see what you can do possibly. Do you understand? So this is what we want to consider here now. So steps you can take to conduct a self-assessment. What are the steps you can take to conduct a self-assessment and a reflection on your emotional intelligence? What are those steps you can take? One, understand the components of emotional intelligence. So in our module 2, we are going to study the components of emotional intelligence, right? So one of the steps that I want you to take to carry out self-assessment and reflection of your emotion is understanding the components of emotional intelligence. What are those components of emotional intelligence? Self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, empathy, and relationship management. Reflect on how these components manifest in your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Generally, we say that your emotions, all right, your emotion can influence how you take decisions, how you address issues, how you address problems. Do you understand? They influence it. So how does these factors that we are mentioning here, these components, how do they influence how you think, how you feel, and how you respond or react or how you act? Do you understand? This is what we're talking about here. So understanding, number one step you can take is understand these components first. Number two, use emotional intelligence assessment tools, the ones we have discussed. Use all those various tools. Use the one that is applicable to your situation that you are trying to address. Okay. Consider using self-assessment tools like the ones mentioned earlier in this conversation to evaluate your emotional intelligence skills and competencies. These tools can provide insight into your strength and areas for improvement. Areas, it can show you areas that you need improvement. It may be areas of communication. How are you communicating effectively with your wife or your children or your colleagues or your generally? How do you communicate? Do you understand? So it can give you reasons why you should improve in your communication abilities. Then it can be also in the interpersonal relationship. How do you interact with people, those that you know and those that you don't know? How do you interact? Do you understand? It can help you to also, uh, you know, be able to balance your interactions. Then we talk about reflect on past experiences. Reflect on past experiences. That's what I'm saying. You have been having challenges. It could be with your spouse, with your colleagues. Why is that I'm always having problem? Why is it that it's always me? Do you understand? Why is it always me? Is it that I am a very bad person? Is it that why is that all the time is my name they are calling? Do you understand? So you begin to do a self-reflection of the past experience, what has happened in the office, what happens at home, and then you just sit. Have you ever had a problem and then you just go and sit and you are looking at it critically? You say, Kai, it's just that I was so foolish. I was so foolish. I wouldn't have taken these steps. Do you understand? Some of you, after maybe quarreling with your husband or wife, you just come and then say, Madam, I'm sorry. I knew I shouldn't have responded the way I responded. Do you understand? That's you have sat down and reflect on what has happened, and then you just observe that you made some mistakes. You react in a way that you shouldn't have reacted. So you now come back to your senses now, and then you come to apologize and say, Madam, I regret what I said. It was, I shouldn't have responded the way I responded. Do you understand? I have done it. I know you have done it before. Do you understand? So it's possible. Sometimes you even apologize to your children as well. Sorry that I shouted at you. I shouldn't have shouted. Do you understand? Because some of our children don't enjoy when we shout at them. When you shout at them, they cry. Do you understand? And then maybe you call them back and apologize and say sorry that I shouted at you and all of that. Do you understand? So it's when you reflect the way you responded or the way you shouted at your child, and then you discover that what you did was not correct. Do you understand? Yes, it was too harsh. Do you understand? So you call the child back and then discuss more. Do you understand? And then we'll talk about other. So that's number third step. Reflect on the past experiences. All right. The fourth thing that you're going to do is seek feedback. Please, sad man, allow your wife to tell you who you are. One of see, if your wife doesn't know you, then who will know you? Don't go and tell me that your mother knows you very well. Your mother cannot know you more than your wife. So if your wife, for instance, now if you are a pastor and your wife did not believe in your pastoral teachings, or you are just know that you are doing a fake job. You are not a genuine pastor. So first and foremost, your wife must believe in you. If your wife refuses to believe, if you pray, your wife did not say amen, sir, your prayer will not be answered. If you like, pray till tomorrow. But if your wife cannot say amen, forget it. Your prayer is not going to answer anywhere. Do you understand? God will not answer it. Because your wife knows you very well. Do you understand? So that is it. So seek feedback. Let's just allow your wife to give you a feedback of who you are and how you have been behaving, how you have been doing. Do you understand? Sometimes we don't want this assessment, but true to it, we need it so that we can adjust ourselves, how we behave. Or wife, allow your husband to talk to you about, sometimes we are afraid to talk to our people. Like, sometimes parents even are afraid to talk to their own children. Do you understand? Sometimes we're afraid to even talk to our wives, to our husband. Sit your wife down. If you cannot, just sit, create a good time, and when in a good movement, in a better language. The problem is, the reason why most of the times we find it difficult to do this, because our ability to communicate effectively is a problem. We want to address a particular problem. We want to give a feedback of somebody's behavior or character, but instead of presenting in a way that is not accusative, we don't know how to do it. Do you understand? So that language presentation is one of the difficult things that's always a problem. So instead of, because we want to talk to somebody, we want to give the person feedback, but we are criticizing the person. Instead of giving the person feedback, you are criticizing. So it becomes a difficult situation. It creates rather conflict in the process. So do you understand what I'm trying to say? I think people are getting what I'm trying to say, because you must have experienced what I'm talking about here. You have a genuine concern. Really, you have a genuine concern. You feel like you need to talk to your wife or your husband, let her know or he know what is going on and how you feel about the situation. But you open your mouth, then you start accusing. Do you understand? Before you know it, the husband get angry or the wife get angry. I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to hear it again. Just forget about it. Just forget about it. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear. You understand? It's feedback defeated. Problem continues. Misunderstanding continues. I don't know whether I'm making sense. Do you understand? So ask for feedback from trusted friends, family members, colleagues, or mentors about your emotional intelligence skills. Their perspective can offer valuable insight into how others perceive your emotional intelligence and interpersonal skills. Do you understand? That's why you give them opportunity to talk to you. Your boss, sir, how am I doing? Do you understand? People who love you can give you genuine assessment. They will tell you the truth. Don't feel bitter about it. They are telling you the truth. Just calm down. There's at some point, okay, let me give, if you think I'm talking to you only, let me talk to myself. Let me use my own experience. They say the experience is the best teacher, right? So let me use my own practical experience and talk to you. Do you know that my wife one day told me that I don't consider her opinion? My wife said I don't consider her opinion, that her advice is not always taken. So I sat down. So I began to look at it. My advice is not always taken. So the thing just they rang into my head. They rang into my head. Do you understand? So I said, am I being so authoritative? Am I being so? Am I doing a one-man show? Am I not carrying my family, my wife along? You understand? I feel that I was carrying her along. But she say, do you understand? I'm not giving her opportunity to contribute. Do you understand? So I is contributing, making adjustment and improvement. So we need some of these things. Sometimes they may come, sometimes the reason why these things are not taken is because of the language and the manner with which they are presented. Do you understand? Not that somebody don't want to take such corrections or such feedback, but the way it's being presented is not correct. That's why our communication abilities must be improved. Do you understand? That's it. Do you understand? So that is what it is. So practice mindfulness. Practice mindful. Another step you can take is practice what? Mindfulness. Engage in mindful practices like meditation, deep breathing, or journaling to increase self-awareness and self-regulation. Mindfulness can help you to uh, become more attuned to your emotions and thoughts, allowing you to respond more effectively in challenging situations. So just be mindful. Just Just close your eyes and meditate on certain things. All right? Just meditate. Look, just close your eyes and meditate. Don't always be in the open talking. Just sometimes you just have to sit down, close your eyes, and meditate about certain things that are happening around you. All right? Then talk about set goals for improvement. Set goals for improvement. Now you have meditate, you have practiced mindfulness, you have seek for feedback, conduct other ones that we have mentioned. Now set goals for improvement. Time for improvement. They say you have not been taking correction or you have not been carrying anybody along, then begin to carry someone along. All right, begin to carry someone along. So set goals. So henceforth, what am I going to do? Identify specific areas of emotional intelligence that you want to work on and set achievable goals for improvement. Focus on developing skills like active listening. One of the challenges that we men face in our homes, we men, I'm talking about married men. If you are not married, you are not a man yet. I'm talking about married men. You understand? One of the challenges that we face with our wives is listening, listen. Because we are always busy with activities, and you know our wives can talk. Oh, they want to talk. They want to share something with you, but you are not listening. They are telling you some. They will tell you. You will just come and jump in the video and say, "You say what?" And when you ask them this kind of question, they are always offended. My wife is always offended. I will tell you the truth. Because sometimes I will be busy with it. And sometimes they will come without saying excuse. I want to talk to you. They will just come and begin to talk to you immediately. They begin to talk to you. They don't care whether you are listening or not. They just begin to talk. They just assume that you are listening until when you ask them question that you say what, then they get offended. So that is how it works. Just that what you have to improve in your listening. All right. You also empathy. So when somebody is trying to express something to you, put yourself into somebody's emotion, shoes, and then also look at conflict resolution, how you address conflicting situations and emotional self-control. Control your emotions. Don't react. Always try as much as possible. Don't react to issues. Respond. You know, sometimes situation may provoke you. You may be under some level of stress. If care is not taken, you react instead of responding. So always try to respond. That's response come after thought. Do you understand? Reaction, when you just hear it, you just without anything, you just begin to react. No, that is wrong. So then we look at reflect on your interactions. Regularly reflect on your interactions with others, paying attention to how you express your emotion, respond to feedback, and build relationship. Consider how you can enhance your emotional intelligence in these interactions. Then finally, seek continuous learning, like what you are doing now. What you are gaining here now is a life transformer. Do you understand? It's a life transformation experience. It add value to what you have already known or what you did not know. It has increased and expanded your horizon. Do you understand? So learning, seek continuous learning. That's why you have spent 1 hour, 30 minutes online here, what and listening, and commenting and sharing your experiences. You understand? So you are learning. Learning is good. It expands, it keeps you alive. Okay. Stay curious and open to learning about emotional intelligence through books, articles, workshops, or training like this one that you're doing. Continuous learning can help you deepen your understanding of emotional intelligence and develop new skills. Do you understand? Yes. So there's one video I came across. So maybe after, I think it's one of our trainings that we'll be doing subsequently. So after I finish a particular that topic that I'm going to treat, I will share the video with you in our WhatsApp group. You'll watch it and see how certain things are being done. Do you understand? It will help you. It helps you to know who you are. That's you make based on certain questions that are being conducted, or based on certain observation and questions that are being put in place. It will help you to understand who you are as a person, whether you are an inspirator, or whether you are a, a you know You know, so those of us that read this book, what do you call it? Uh, why do you behave the way you do, or what do you think the way you do? This is why you be how why you behave the way you do. Okay, uh what does it talk about your temperament? Do you understand? Talk about your temperament. You can read that book. It also help you to understand who you are, whether you are a melancholy or you are a sanguine or you are all those one flagmans and all of that. So you know who you are. You know who you are. They help you to understand your traits. Do you understand? Very important. So by engaging in self-assessment and reflection on emotional intelligence, you can enhance your self-awareness, improve your relationship with others, and become more effective in navigating the complexities of human emotions. That's what it's going to help you to do. So thank you very much for your time, for being part of this today's training, and also contributing by participating, commenting, and also answering questions. Because at some point I was just giving you some scenario and you were responding. I see when I go home, I'm still in the office. When I get home, I will still take time and respond to those of you that answer correctly and wrongly. I will still let you know that you answer correctly or wrongly. Do you understand? I will try as much as possible to respond before I will sleep. So thank you very much, and we appreciate your contribution. For those of you that have taken time to share this meeting with others, we appreciate you for sharing. You know, it's very important so that people can know, oh, our passion for doing what we are doing is, and it's for us to educate our population, our citizens, so that they can begin to, you know, we have complex problem in our country, Nigeria, for instance, and in Africa. So we want to see how we can go far by educating people so that they should know what they need to know, how to know, and then behave as they ought to behave. Do you understand? It's because some of these things we don't know. That's why we do things contrary. We do things, and that's why we're having problems in our society. So many problems, and that's why we decided to introduce this training. Because if we say pay, many people will not have money to pay for it, or they feel that this training, this one and that one. So do you understand? So we decided to introduce. So every month we are going to organize a training. Every month we are going to organize training, and we'll be doing it year in year out. We can see that, and by we are going to design our certificate platform so that we can know how many people have attended our training, and we have given them the certificate as well. So it will run into millions of people because we are going to do it on a monthly basis. As soon as we finish this one, we are starting another one. So do you understand? It's a continuous so that you learn. So thank you very much for being part of today's training. Let me see if I have any question. I'll take maybe one question before we go. If I don't have any, we'll call it a day, and then we'll move forward. Ah, all I'm seeing here is appreciation and all of that. So I don't have any question, but I will still go and take time at home and check. If I see any question, I will respond. I will just comment on it and respond as much as possible. So without wasting much time, thank you for your time. Thank you for being part of today's training. Thank you for making it today. Tomorrow we are going to meet and we'll continue with tomorrow we are going into module 2, and we are going to look at the components of emotional intelligence. Okay, which is one of the steps that we need to understand to carry out self-assessment and self-reflection. So just make time to be there. Thank you very much and have a wonderful night rest. Bye.